and welcome to Angel Heart Radio. I'm your host, Beth, and today we have a great show. I have a wonderful guest, Vanessa Eagleton from Pathogen Healing Services, and Vanessa does remote clearing of pathogens. So if you don't know what a pathogen is or how we get them or anything like that, Vanessa is going to go in and explain all that and what you can do or what she can do to help you with clearing these things. So it's a fascinating subject because there's so much we don't understand what goes on in our body. So yeah, we won't be able to do it all, I guess, because there's so much, but certainly you'll understand what Vanessa has to offer and how she can help you. So before I introduce Vanessa, I'll just do a bit of housekeeping. So Angel Heart Radio programs are not to be used to replace any medical, legal or professional advice, nor your own sound judgment. So thank you. Okay, and so welcome, Vanessa. It's great to have you here today.
Hi, Beth. Thank you for having me. It's amazing to be with you on your show. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this because I've actually worked with Vanessa and I've certainly had some pathogens and viruses and so forth. And I know the power of this. And I was actually shocked how much was in my body from how long ago. And I could understand when Vanessa worked on me what was in there from what I understood, but excuse me, but it's so vast and yeah, so I certainly can attest to what happens. So for people who don't understand, what is a pathogen?
Well, a pathogen is something that makes us very sick. So it can be a virus, a bacteria, a fungus, or a toxin, a poison. There's parasites as well. Heavy metals is other things that we look at. So all these things work to make us tired and fatigued and generally unwell. And we've found that pathogens are at the root cause of many, many problems and issues and conditions that we have. Yes, it's absolutely fascinating learning about that and how profound it is to when you clear one of those.
Yes,
some of these
definitely.
Pathogens.
Now, you've been working with this, and you're the only remote practitioner in Australia at this point, and you've been working with other modalities for about 17 years, but this one for about 3 years, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So
yes, I learned a lot of different modalities.
Yes. So you would have seen quite a bit in that time.
A lot, yeah. I learned a lot of different things and understanding about energy and everything's amazing.
It is. So, okay, a little bit of background. What led you to want to do this yourself?
A deep yearning to help people came first, and I was working in a medical secretary type of job, which I loved. And then that all changed and I kind of settled down and got married. And after that, I wasn't able to get work in that field. And then something in my mind just said, do the Reiki. So I went off and had a Reiki attunement and boom, that's when all my gifts and abilities sort of opened very quickly. Within a couple of months, I was seeing, hearing and feeling angelic presence and some star energy as well.
Right. Wow. So that was
seeing into people's bodies as well. That kind of was quite shocking.
Yes. So you also do you're in medical intuitive. I guess they definitely go together in that way. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I do have a very strong intuitive energy, insight to certain things, and I do get a lot of information from spirit. We call it that. My higher self does give me a lot of insight, and so marrying the two together is amazing. But I do love to focus on also medical intuitive energy healing, so body parts, and I do clearings for conditions or whatever I get shown to do to help people.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that was quite a quick awakening in that sense. So how did you handle all that?
I loved it. It was just another world had opened to me, all the unseen. My husband at the time thought I was all very strange, and he didn't really understand it, but I did. And I had friends that used to come over for groups of healing. You know, we'd practice Reiki, and then eventually I would just channel information to the group. And so it became a healing group, and a lovely, wonderful meditation and healing group where we discover all sorts of topics and do healings for all different types of things. And I really love that. And then I just wanted to learn more about healing the body and how we get sick and why we get sick and how to heal that. So I just started learning different modalities in different areas, and eventually come across pathogen healing in 2018, very early on. And I had an issue myself, and it was very powerful to actually heal that, because nothing I did could heal that.
Right.
And that's when I knew that this was really, really powerful.
Right.
To
change. You didn't actually search for it; it came to you. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a very profound experience that I guess I won't go into, but it was really profound. You need to make a decision of what you're doing here or not. And so I chose to stay here, and that's within a week I found pathogen healing. And I knew that was like, whoa, a sign. This is what I'm meant to be doing.
Yeah.
So it was really amazing.
That's great. Okay. So that certainly set you on a different path. And
yes,
it does open up a different world altogether, and it makes you see life very differently as well.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful for this modality. It's healed a lot of things for myself. When I get, things going on, you just have a look at the pathogens, boom, and clear them. And it's just incredible how quickly it can work. Yes. So family and friends have benefited, and also, of course, all my wonderful clients have benefited.
Yeah, and you do work on animals as well?
Oh, yes, because I love animals. I love animals. So they suffer from the same things we do, toxins, poisons, viruses, bacteria, infections.
Yeah.
Even the toxicities, from their from their vaccines can make them very unwell sometimes. So we do a whole lot of different stuff to look at with pets. Yeah.
Okay. Are there any examples you can give people at all?
Of human healing?
Yeah, we'll start with humans, yeah.
Yeah, sure. There's lots of things. One of the most profound, actually, was very early on in the, when you get thrown in the deep end and you think, oh, wow, this is huge, but focus on what I'd been taught. And the lady had a lot of parasite infection. She was very, very sick and ill, and she was probably at her last desperate plea for help, because she wasn't getting help from anywhere else. So all the things that came up were a lot of parasites, very strange kind of parasites. She did have a trip overseas where she probably picked up some stuff there. Food poisoning as well was there. When we go to those countries, we can get very sick. But she responded within 2 weeks to the healing, and it was a lot of detoxing she had to go through to get rid of this stuff. It's just awful stuff. That was one of the most profound healings.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there is a bit of a detoxing process the body has to go through to get rid of it normally. Is that correct?
Well, pathogens healing, the pathogens themselves have a very strong energy. So if you've got an actual illness or sickness, sometimes when we take it out, we release the frequency of the pathogen. It can make you feel unwell or even more painful, but it doesn't last too long. It usually shifts out within hours, or maybe you're tired for a day or two, or but it does need to detox through the physical, because I change it on the etheric, your energy, and then it's got to go through the physical. So I get everyone to drink lots of water. to help
Is,
flush.
yeah. Is
Flush
there
out.
anything else someone can do, like, to support that healing process, would you say? Like
Not
herbs or
really.
no, don't
No,
need to?
no.
Okay. Okay. That's
Just
interesting.
rest and let go.
Yeah.
Let go.
Would you say there's a lot of people, or a majority of people, feeling lack of energy, or what would be,
Absolutely. The
is that
most
the
thing I
biggest thing?
deal with, yeah, the
Oh, it
most
is,
thing
right.
is fatigue. A lot of people say, look, I'm 60 now. This is normal. The doctor's just saying, you know, I'm getting older. That's not normal to feel fatigue like that all the time. And what I do find is a lot of viruses like Epstein-Barr and glandular fever, cytomegalovirus, Ross River fever virus. There's a lot of them. Hepatitis C is another one that all work to cause fatigue in the body. And these pathogens are at remnant levels, some of them, so it's very small. They're still in the body, so they layer as well. So the older we get, the more pathogenic infections you're likely to have. And so they all start working at different times. They'll activate or they'll flare up, and then suddenly you've gone into your, oh, I'm fatigued, I'm so tired, and I don't know why. So it's very hard for doctors too to work out what is actually going on symptom-wise, because there's so many different pathogens flaring at different times. And what I've realized is people who get that have been through stress, upheaval, a marriage breakup, job loss, even an operation, even childbirth, something major going on with the body, that's when the immune system starts to deplete or not function as properly as it should. And that's when the bugs come out. That's when the pathogens start to flare, when your immune goes down. People who
So
are very
stress is,
it's very
stress is a big factor, isn't it?
huge. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah. So meditating is important, you know, finding a way to
Stress
de-stress
release,
maximum.
whether that's doing your exercise, your walking, or meditation, or focusing on something else. There's lots of ways to deal with stress.
What do you find, say, in the brain? Have you worked a lot with things in the brain? Like, say, you know, there's with dementia or Alzheimer's, is there anything that can coalesces with that?
Yes, absolutely. There's actually dementia pathogens, and I do have a list of them that I check if someone needs to have them checked. Some of them are parasites, some of them are viruses that that contribute to that condition. Yeah. There's also encephalitis allergy, there's ticks and Lyme disease, those kinds of bacteria we need to look for. There's meningitis pathogens. So if people are having headaches a lot, I will always check the meningitis bugs and usually find them. And people don't realize that they even have these bugs, these pathogens. And so when we lift them, the headache is just released. So if anybody's had meningitis, you know, they would be left with a certain remnant level of the pathogen in their body. And so they'd probably have headaches as one of the issues they have from having meningitis.
So do you think
It's so easy to,
oh, sorry, go on.
I'm just going to say it's so easy to fix. If you have that pathogen, I can clear it.
Yeah.
And you get relief, you know, it's instant. I've even done that on a pet.
In your opinion, would you say
a cat had it?
Okay. As humans, as we're in 21st century, how do you think there are more pathogens out now because we're traveling, or further back? Do you think we suffered as many in, hundreds of years ago, or more, and we just didn't know what they were?
I think so. Yeah, I think always pathogens have been around, like bacteria and fungus is the oldest things on the planet.
Mm.
And often, this is really amazing, but sometimes an ancestor will step in and I can see them and they will explain to me that they've had the same pathogen.
Ah,
So I've
interesting.
been starting to see how the ancestors, you can carry the same pathogens. They get carried down through the genetic line. It's kind of amazing, but I see it. So
What that it's interesting because like with different bodies, but yeah, we can still carry a pathogen in a
yeah, in the
physical
DNA,
pathogen
the
in the
DNA.
DNA. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So do you work at that DNA level, would you say? Can you
I
go
have
in?
done, I have done,
Right.
and I've been told and guided to do a whole lot of stuff with genetic pathogens that we carry, but I haven't had
Mm.
time to focus too much on it.
No, no, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, that would
But
be
I just,
another.
another rabbit hole to go down for me, and there are a lot of rabbit holes with this modality to
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
and explore for sure. But
Yes.
I just clear the pathogen for the client and for the ancestor as they stand there.
Okay. Oh, that's good. And do you
Yeah.
notice when you clear something for someone, do they report anything that happens, say, within a family? Is there any change in the other people? Because you
I've
know how
never
you
heard
can.
back. No.
Oh, okay,
They
right.
just
Okay.
say they get relief. That's about as far as their observation of it can go, or that I've
Mm-hmm.
been told. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sure other dynamics change because it's all emotional as well. I see a lot of emotions that are attached to the pathogens as I'm
Yes.
clearing them. Yeah.
Yeah. And you would see that more and more, I'm sure.
All the time. Mostly all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
Because, with other types of energy work, when you work on someone, that automatically does shift something within the field of that person
Yes,
with other
absolutely.
people.
Their emotional body is cleared, even their mental body, their outlook, the whole mindset can shift. I've had people tell me
Mm.
that. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, so theoretically, we can, have a clearer mind because we don't know what pathogens or what could be, in our brains as such that
Absolutely.
it's
They're
affecting
very
us.
suppressive. It's very suppressive energy. And some people say
Mm.
it's like a blanket being lifted off when I take the pathogen, the clearing. And
Mm.
sometimes I see a blanket just literally lifting off. So sometimes it's around the third eye, where that blanket has been sitting, blanket of energy, and they report a lot clearer psychic vision, and some of them even report mediumship that they've been hearing lost
Mm.
souls, and their family members. So it's quite
Yeah,
amazing, really.
yes, our third eyes can get blocked quite easily. And I noticed you do a MP3 for doing that, actually, clearing the third eye. Is that correct? A
Yes,
clearing
I
on
was
that?
guided to do a third eye clearing. So we do a lot of clearing in that. And also EMF, I was told that the EMF, the electromagnetic radiation, is affecting people's pituitary gland, which
Mm-hmm.
is the third eye. So we do a clearing with that as well.
Right. Okay. Have you have you ever worked on someone that's had a particular thing in their third eye, like a pathogen of some sort?
Um, the lady with the parasite, she had a lot of clearing with her third eye after I cleared the parasites. So
Mm-hmm.
again, they have blankets of energy of suppression around the
Yeah.
vision area.
Yeah. Okay. And what would be your there'd probably be so many. The most that was the biggest one you talked about. Most unusual, would you say? Did you that you can remember?
The most unusual clearing came from a pathogen that was a past life pathogen. It was a toxin, actually. So something from Fukushima showed up,
Oh, right.
like radiation it was.
Ah, past life.
How it
Right.
was shown very clearly. It was, yeah. that she'd been subjected to that and to clear it. So I cleared radiation. That was very interesting because I could feel the energy all in my face as I was clearing it.
Okay. Interesting.
I mean, some people don't understand past lives and stuff. That's fine, but I get shown stuff and I just can't ignore it. It's quite amazing to me when I see things like that. I mean, anything is possible, now, with energy healing. Anything is possible that we can shift. We're only as limited as our mindsets are.
Yes. And this is a way of, we'll be doing a lot more with that. Yeah, across the globe, wherever, it doesn't matter. And time has no boundary as such. Yeah.
Now, one of the incredible things people say is that you're right across the world from me, and yet you've cleared all this stuff for me. They're quite amazed, and I'm still amazed by that too. It is remarkable.
It is, yes. I guess the thing is, if someone doesn't really believe, they're very skeptical, but they're desperate. Say they're, really needing something, but there's that skepticism. How do you find that?
Desperate and skeptical. Yes, I've had, yes. They actually put up a review on my page, how skeptical they were and how amazed they were when I cleared their digestive issues, the digestive symptoms. So, yeah, no, it does happen.
Well, yes, skeptics can make the best converts because they're so, I didn't know if it would affect the result. As
in my experience, I have not found that.
Okay, that's great.
No, I haven't found that.
Yeah. And so you work on pets as well, which is wonderful because, they're part of our family. They're important.
Yeah, absolutely. They're precious to us.
Yeah. Who would you say has more, humans or animals?
Oh, that's hard to say because animals get sick a lot too, don't they?
Yeah, yeah.
I'd have to say humans if you're asking me to choose.
Fair enough. That was curious. What about plants?
Yeah, plants have a lot of like I've noticed fungus even on the plants at the front of our house. So I'd have to go through major lists of plant fungus to find the fungus and clear the tree. But yeah, that's another rabbit hole you could go down, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, there is no end to it, really, as you say.
No.
So, of course, our
there's
imagination.
even mold and fungus in people's houses. I mean, that's another rabbit hole I was shown I could go down, is to clear houses of the mold.
Yes. In that case, are you actually energetically directing the mold itself?
I'm identifying which variety of mold that may be there. Once I identify it, I can clear it.
Okay. Yes. Well, that would be good. I mean, molds are such a nasty sort of.
Very nasty.
Yeah.
I have the awareness of people who are very mold affected. It makes people very sick and affects the neurological system, the brain, everything. Obviously, the respiratory system as well. So I do clear a lot of aspergillus. So if you've got a tightness in your chest or asthma type symptoms, the aspergillus fungus comes up a lot.
And where does that come from? Sorry?
Oh, it's just you can get it from soil and plants. It gathers sometimes in air conditioning units.
Yes, well, that's interesting considering all the air conditioning we have these days on planes, but houses everywhere you go is, well, particularly in subtropical Queensland, but pretty well everywhere these days, air conditioners, Yeah,
it's really important to clear your air conditioners and have them serviced as regularly as you can because I got shown something in my house. My intuitive said, you've got mold happening there. You need to find that and clear it out. And that kind of frightened me because I do have kind of weird symptoms in my sinus. So you know, I did clear a few things of my own of fungus that was there, and it's quite scary when you think it's actually in your body doing.
Yes.
I mean, there's
What
fungus.
what does molds and fungus, they can affect your thinking. What else? Stomach issues, or what does that do?
Toenail infections, digestive issues, so the candida, which gives brain fog if you've had it a long time, or is systemic in your body. There's urinary issues, reproductive candida. There's also skin fungus. So if you have eczema or any tinea, skin conditions, or you know, sometimes I'll find fair bit of fungus type skin pathogens. So it's all across the whole body, fungus.
So yeah, the fungus is a big one. Yes. So there's a lot of pathogens that would affect our organs as well, and you know, without us realizing.
Yes, absolutely. The most prominent pathogen I clear is Epstein-Barr virus, if you've heard of that.
Yes.
That gets in the organs, and you know, it goes through stages of its infliction, I'll call it, because it does inflict damage.
Right.
I clear that. 95% of people I work on have that. So common. Okay. But it causes a lot of long-term fatigue.
Okay.
Yeah, big one for fatigue, Epstein-Barr.
How would someone, you know, how do we pick it up, Epstein-Barr?
There's lots of different ways. It's very commonly spread through hands. Going to a restaurant, you can get it. Food utensils, obviously contact with people, partners, just kissing, it's so spreadable.
So we've obviously had this for thousands and thousands of years because we all have done this. It's sort of, it's understanding how we, you know, have to live our life, but also at the same time, I guess, watching what we do, or how we, you know, we all go to restaurants.
I know, it's that simple. You can get lots of stuff from restaurants. My teacher was telling me a lot of things that happened, you know, with food poisoning and all sorts of bugs.
So is the clearing away also, you can build someone's if the immunity is down, the body will obviously work better, but is there a way
of immunity's down, we need to find out why it's down, and then we start clearing the viruses, because the immune system is constantly trying to, you know, clear the viruses and the bacteria and whatever else is there. And if you've got a fungus there, low level, the immune system is very compromised by just trying to deal with the fungus, let alone everything else. So the less pathogenic infection, the more your immune system and body is able to function normally.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, our air, our water and our soil are not functioning at the optimum level. So we're sort of a bit behind on that with the way our world is. It's, you know, obviously
there's so much that can bring in toxicity to the body, isn't there? There's the food, the chemtrails, the air, the water. The chemicals in food is quite alarming. I've just been looking at that, and I've got a major list going for that. You know,
so really, you know, it's making choices as much as you possibly can around the food, you know, having least chemicals and so forth to help the immune system and you know, bacteria, I guess. But we're living in this world, so it's trying to adapt to that and stay healthy at the same time.
Yes, it's hard. So with the viruses going around the planet at the moment, it's really hard. I don't want to talk about it really, but washing your hands and staying, you know, keeping your hands washed is really vital, because this is how we spread a lot of bacteria and viruses. Put your hands on a
Yes.
table, you've been out to dinner and you're just there. Next minute you're just wiping or rubbing your eye, boom. That's how quickly, we can get these things coming in.
Yeah. So one thing, you work with respiratory situations that you can help people with, and you have been working with someone with
Yes.
who had COVID for a lot, had it but then couldn't shake it. So you have helped a lady, was that correct?
Yes, a lady in the United Kingdom. She's very sick and she had awful symptoms of stomach upset, aches and pains, joint pain, muscle fatigue. She couldn't walk anywhere. She said she was actually crawling around the house. It was so bad. And head fog, brain fog, cognition completely gone. It's just incredible what this virus is doing. So within 3 months, she sort of came good and went for a walk and then was absolutely fatigued all over again. And she had to go back to bed for days. And this went on, and then finally by accident, she said she found me and I was able to identify all the toxins and the viruses, the bacteria. Her throat, ears, nose and throat had a lot of viral infection there. She kept having sore throats. So identified the stomach bacteria, ears, nose, throat. There was also, I think, a Japanese encephalitis was giving her terrible headaches. And of course, clearing the actual COVID virus released a lot of stuff.
Okay, and how long did that take to actually clear?
Well, she couldn't tolerate 5 clearings all at once because it was too much and too much for her. So I had to do maybe 2 or 3 each couple of days, 2 or 3. And then it took a couple of weeks for all that to just sort of integrate till she started to come better. But she did go through some heavy detoxing, so she felt very unwell and in pain again, but it didn't last too long.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I just want to check this lady. There's a lady, Jolene Jags. She says, I swear by Vanessa and her pathogen healing, she's done wonders for me and my family. I'm eternally grateful, which is lovely. And
thank you, Jolene.
Yes. And Lynn, thanks for being here, Lynn. I will put Vanessa's, I did put it in the chat room, her Facebook page, but I'll put it on the Facebook page anyway after the show. And if anyone has any other questions, I'll certainly answer those as well. But yes, I mean, this would give hope to a lot of people who may be experiencing, long-term effects from any respiratory, but also,
horrible. It's also their mental health that's suffering.
Yes.
Their mental health.
Yes.
Like some of them can't work. They're debilitated. It's just horrible. So identifying, is something I really do want to help people with, is that long-term COVID fatigue.
Yes. And yes, certainly, that would be a godsend for many people, and it is doable. And that's the thing. There is help out there. You can get it.
And a lot of people don't even know that this modality exists.
No.
And some people don't really believe in this kind of thing, but I can't help those kind of people. I'm just wanting to help people that are open to it. Because it's life-changing. It's absolutely life-changing.
It is. And everyone has their own beliefs, and that's absolutely fine. And if, you're drawn to this, definitely it is a way. It's a different way. And I guess the fact of when you've tried everything else, it's like, well, try this.
People come to me, they've exhausted everything else and they've spent so much money in, in trying other things that it doesn't get results.
And it doesn't always help. So is there, now you talked about possibly today doing a live clearing on the adrenals and possibly the thyroid. What would you talk about the adrenals? What gets affected what pathogens would affect the adrenals, or it's just like
It's hard
a
to say, really. It's a lot of Epstein-Barr, and I see a lot of emotional stuff that people have with adrenals. So it's a lot of emotional stuff that's going on that fatigues the body. So we have to understand it's our emotions that drag us down physically and energetically.
Mm.
So if you're feeling, depressed and down, you're going to start feeling weird in your body. I know it because it's happened to me. And I see it in my clients as well.
So with the adrenals, not so much a virus or a pathogen, but it's the stress, and then that affects the
absolute stress. I was shown very clearly today that was stress for the adrenals that I had to clear, not so much toxins, but a stress release. So I did intuit from my list of body parts, the adrenals come up for today's show.
Right. And what would you say about the thyroid? Because there'd be other things that would affect the thyroid, pathogens maybe. Is that correct?
Yes. The two that I see, the one that I see that makes the most impact is cytomegalovirus.
Okay.
It just sits in the thyroid and starts debilitating its function. And along with Epstein-Barr. So those two go together a lot of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where would that first one come from? How would that get in the body?
It's similar to Epstein-Barr, so it gets spread the same way through close contact with people.
And we're not saying not to have close contact with people. We've got to.
No, but it's just a part of life. We can't not do that. So
we all need the contact now more than ever. But it's just being aware if you're experiencing something where you're feeling extra low. I guess that's the thing. And then, with the thyroid particularly, things can, lack of energy.
Your hormones go out of balance, and then all sorts of things start happening symptom-wise. So it's very tricky. But pathogens can be part of that imbalance to the thyroid for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
There's also nutrients. So iodine is very important to balance the thyroid gland. And we know from our soil that it's depleted in iodine, and some of us do have to take iodine supplements. So
I guess you would have to get that tested so you take the right amount.
Yes, you'd have to get that tested.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get that checked out,
Yeah, very important.
I just focus on pathogenic infection. I don't do anything hormonal or start doing stuff like that because it's not really my domain. That's, I'm not trained in anything like that for that.
No. So obviously people can still be taking their medicine, and you work with them in this way as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How many COVID people have you worked with that have had it long term? I'm just wondering other ways it may affect them other than just.
There was a family in the USA. They'd come down with it, and I cleared it from the family. They had loss of smell and taste. They were fatigued and felt unwell. There was another lady that was suffering headaches from the day. Pretty much, I think she had COVID. She had the headaches, and it didn't go away until I cleared it. So when I cleared the COVID-19, the virus, she had no more headaches.
That's good.
It's amazing.
Yes, it is. Yes, they would feel very different, I'm sure. It would give them some life back.
There's quite a few people I've done overseas, not so much here in Australia. We haven't really had it blown out. And again, no one really knows about the modality. I don't really advertise it a lot. No.
Well, hopefully you'll have some people who are really interested that you can help today. I'll just see if there's any other questions from anyone. Oh, here we go. blah, blah, blah.
I can't see how many people are watching.
There's just a
Is there
few.
people watching, or is it just you and I talking to?
No.
Oh,
I think there's someone on, but they're not we won't bother with what they're saying. I don't think it's related to, it's not related to what we're talking about. So it's okay. Yeah, look, it's fascinating. And I know talking to you just about my own things, how much it's taught me about my own body and what it can do and what's been in there for so many years. And
and we
shocked,
just
actually.
get kind of complacent about how we feel. We don't think, gee, like we think it's normal is what I'm trying to say, and it's not. So we just put up with stuff for a long time. Yeah. So
Exactly.
I had an issue of back pain, sciatica type pain, and down my leg, one leg, and it would go and seed and come up and flare and annoy me and inflame, and it was just horrible. This went on for 10 years. So when I learned pathogens, I was able to have that cleared, and what was in the nerve was a varicella zoster virus, which is related to the chickenpox family virus. And, you know, I've had chickenpox. I did have that at 33. So, wow. It just hangs there in the nerves, and it will inflame. And so it comes and goes when your immune goes up and down. Stress activates it as well.
Yeah.
But it was instantly cleared. The pain just left. And that was my biggest healing for myself. I'll have to say that. It was my biggest healing.
Yeah, it certainly makes you think about all the aches and pains that you can't explain, or this or that goes on in your body. So
most of us tend to ignore our little aches and pains, but sometimes they don't go away. That's when you know that there's an issue there. There's something going on.
Definitely. Okay. Look, I don't, if you would have time, how long does the, it's 1:45, the one on the adrenals, did you want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I can just run some energy. I got told the priority is the adrenals, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think I did.
Now, even if people aren't here on the live show, that even if they watch this afterwards, you will still receive the energy for this.
Intention. If you have the intention to receive this clearing for yourself, absolutely, you will receive it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Great. Thank you. This is wonderful.
Yeah. So maybe just if we can all focus on our adrenals, like put our attention to the adrenals, which sit above the kidneys, as you know.
Yes.
And I will start a clearing for stress. So stress and pressure build up in that. So we're going into the energy field around your adrenal glands for this one. So what came through was it's not valuing ourselves. When we have adrenal issues or fatigue, it's not valuing yourself, and we are pushing ourselves too hard. Not making enough time for self. Okay, so just everyone relax, and we'll just start the process. I've just got my pendulum here. And the intention is to release the stress that is built up in your adrenal glands.
Sounds good.
So what I'm feeling is a lot of mental fatigue. People are suffering mental fatigue with this one as well. Because I'm actually getting a headache and a pressure around my head. So it's all mental fatigue.
That makes sense in our world today.
Oh yeah, more than ever. Hey. So the energy is just still running to clear the stress, the pressure that builds up. Allowing yourself to let go. To bring a sense of rejuvenation back to your body, your mind and spirit. Let the light in. So visualize some beautiful light coming through for your adrenal glands. Take a deep breath and blow out any stress and pressure. I can feel it. I felt it when the light came in.
I can feel a shift.
Mm-hmm. Allow yourself to let go of these things. And also, like, cut cords. Let's just cut cords to all the things that are creating pressure and stress in your life right now. Just cut them. Just energetically cut that cord.
Get a big
from the
great
adrenal glands.
Sword or lightsaber and cut
Yeah,
that.
sword of light. Beautiful sword of light.
In front and behind.
Yes, you can do them any way you feel. Which way? And once those cords are cut, just come back into your beautiful space and be filled with golden radiant light around your body. Sitting in that space of love and peace. I'm definitely feeling that in my back. So I do feel the pressure just release right then. As the energy just finished. So it's just complete now. That little process is complete. So just sit with that as we integrate that shift through the adrenals and the energy above the adrenals, all shifting. And also just have some water. If you have this, if you're here just for the clearing part of today, just have some water after the process because it will shift some toxicity. I do use the homeopathic remedies when we do the clearings.
Mm-hmm.
They also work to clear the toxicity in the body.
Yes. Now the adrenals obviously would have an effect on the heart. Maggie in the chat room, Maggie Mellon, has asked, is there anything around the heart that you work with also in terms of this, that pathogens affect the heart, or is it more just...
Yes, something came up the other day. It was a bacteria, a dental bacteria. It came up for a gentleman and I went, whoa, this is a dental pathogen, then it goes straight to the heart. So it can be very dangerous. Wow. Any dentist will tell you if you have infected teeth, be very careful because you've got to get them seen to because it can travel to your heart.
To your heart. That's interesting. From mouth to the heart. Wow.
Yep. Through the bloodstream.
Yes, that makes sense. Okay. Fascinating. No, I felt that shift. You did? Thank you. Yeah.
There's also rheumatic fever for the heart. That lady was asking for the heart.
Sorry, what was that?
Rheumatic fever for the heart. It's another one that affects your heart.
Okay. Right. Interesting. I think this other question may be related to stress, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, people can have chest pains from stress. My mother went through that when she lost a very dear friend. All she could feel was this chest pain tightening, but it turned out to be stress. So yeah,
What
very
about
much
strokes? Is that anything related to pathogens or not? Not at all.
I haven't come across that, no.
Right. Okay.
But I find with blood, we must check for toxins and poisons in the blood. Mosquito-borne illnesses affect the blood, and bacteria.
Okay. Interesting. You learn so much about the body. The body is such a fascinating piece of work, you know, that we are these things our spirit is encased in. Yeah, it's
the
amazing.
things that affect us. It's amazing what we've learnt, but it's an ongoing research for me. I'm constantly having to research things and people's conditions to find extra information.
Of course, yes, yes. I'll just check if there are any other questions. One sec. Yeah, someone's had root canal, and Rob, and yes, so he might be a bit concerned about that. Vanessa's,
just mute that. Yeah, definitely root canal. That's where the bacteria can gather and cause infection. So I've done a few of those clearings, and I've done dental infection clearings, abscesses for myself and other people. I've done gingivitis, people with gingivitis, so the gum disease. There's lots of little pathogens that cause that. There's little parasites that cause that. It's pretty gross, but that's what they are. And I've had really good success with clearing them and gum problems, teeth problems.
Right. It just starts you thinking about all the things that have, you know, you've got in your body, and
it's kind of
what
scary.
might be happening.
So many. There's so many. But we've got to focus on one issue at a time, you know. What is the major issue that you're dealing with is what I ask people when they book in. It's like, what are the top 3 things that you're dealing with?
Okay. That's actually what I was going to ask you. If you have any advice for anyone, it is that, what are the top 3 things that you're dealing with, and look at those.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Well, you know, there's so much more, questions, and obviously it's specific to each individual person.
Sure, what they're having, what they're experiencing.
Yeah.
So there's no questions there?
I think that was all that I can. So Erin, where are we? Erin she's had a sore throat for weeks. It might be, depends what that all is about. It could be a number of different things. She hasn't been able to.
That's unusual to have a sore throat for weeks. Has she had a cold with it?
She didn't say, so I'm not really sure.
Possibly the bacteria. So look at Streptococcus pyogenes that causes strep A. They call it strep A.
Right. Yeah.
There's mycoplasmosis. There's a couple of bugs that hang out in the throat. Yes, definitely.
So just your basic sort of is there anything you can suggest? Again, she'd have to get that tested herself. Well, or come and see you.
Yeah, she could book in for the minimum is 5 pathogens to clear, to look at and clear.
Yeah.
So we go through the bacteria list, and I would ask her if she had any other symptoms as well, because things can overlap.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when someone comes to see you, you obviously go through a number of different things. So just so people understand how you work.
I can see the comments now. I can see the comments. Okay. So if you come in for a pathogen healing, I actually get you to fill out a form. So this tells me all the symptoms that you're dealing with. So I check for pathogens according to your symptoms. So if you have like stomach problems, I will check for digestive pathogens. If you're having headache problems, I would check for ears, nose, throat, and other meningitis type things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having back pain, stiffness in joints, that's a whole different set of pathogens.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it can take a little while to go through this, but it's worth taking your time and doing it bit by bit to get to clear what's underneath, because there's many layers to things.
There's pathogens layers. So yeah, we've got to clear the layers, and sometimes I need to re-clear the bug if it comes up again and the person feels whatever symptom again. I have to check it and re-clear it.
Yeah.
So they do layer. There's a lady here.
I was just going to say, what is the best way for people to get in contact with you?
Is to go to my Pathogen Healing Services page.
On Facebook?
Yeah. Is there any way to put that in the chat?
I actually did put it at the beginning. I will put it on
You did? Oh, thank you. That's the link, yes.
That's the link. And I will put it on the Angel Heart Radio Facebook page as well, underneath. When the video comes up, it'll be up for a replay after this.
Okay,
We're nearly time's nearly up, but so you can get in contact with Vanessa there, and she has her phone number and email is there. So Vanessa will work from anywhere around the world. It doesn't have to be here in Australia. So yes, I've worked remotely with Vanessa myself, and it worked very well. So yeah, I can attest to that.
Yes. So Rob's asking, about dealing with the pain. The pain is from probably the bacteria, the infection. So we have to nail it. Just get rid of it. Get rid of that bacteria.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. So maybe Rob could contact you if he wants any more information.
Yeah, sure. We can just chat about it. If he's got questions, absolutely, we can do a little quick chat, free chat on Facebook where we connect, and he can ask questions, and I can let him know how it works.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa, and thank you for doing that adrenal clearing. That was great. And I hope everyone's enjoyed the show and learnt a little bit about pathogen healing, and start thinking about what's going on in your own body and what you can do about it. It doesn't mean you're powerless to, sometimes you feel like you just have to live with something, but you actually don't.
Absolutely.
So it's worth investigating. You just don't know what can shift. So yeah, just realize that. So thank you everyone for being here today, and of course thank you, Vanessa. It's been really interesting and fun. So
thank you to Beth. I'm so pleased to be here and be able to share this information. Yeah, definitely something unique and different.
Thank you. All right, everyone. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week or next fortnight, if I get on earlier, but definitely next fortnight. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye,
Bye to Beth.
Bye. Bye, everyone in the chat room.